Ooh, I am live. Hold up. Let me make sure all these alarms and buttons and all off. Let me post this on the Twitter. On the Twitter. Oh, what the heck am I doing here? Hold up. What up, y'all? What's good? This thing off too. Hold up. Wait a minute. Tweet. Sorry guys. Covering the topic of polygyny. Boom. All right. Let's get this started here. Actually, I don't think I need this. Okay, so this live is actually about a tweet. And I wanted to talk about this because I didn't feel like I could do it justice with just a counter tweet. It's just my humble opinion. Actually, I don't need this. Hopefully the sound stays, quality style. Anywho, my man, Kyle Trouble, he posted a tweet, and let me go ahead and do this screen share thing. Do not show these ticks again. Share screen. Share. Oh, wait. Sharing. Hold on, let me try this again. Share screen. Thing. Don't need to share audio. Share. Okay. Yep. And we got the crazy screen there. What's going on here? Bing. There. Okay, there we go. So my man, Kyle Trouble, dude I've been following for quite some time. He says, this thinking is ridiculous. Sorry, dude. He's talking about a guy who's talking about polygyny. He says, I'm going to bang other women besides my children's mother, and I don't give a damn what they think because of my happiness. If you have a kid, it is your obligation to put their needs ahead of your own within reason. Fair enough. True. He continues in a second tweet. A follow-up tweet says, I'm all for non-monogamy, but this is lunacy to think that I don't believe in monogamy, so I'm going to live with 4 women and subject my kids to explaining it for their whole lives because I want to be happy. That's freaking selfish on your part. Better off cheating plus not getting caught. I'm gonna have to disagree with you there as a Muslim. Just, Then there's some other responses. Oh, where's the responses? Hold on. Then Nabil, if I can find it, where is Nabil's response? It's not there anymore. I don't see it. Interesting. Well, anyway, Nabil responded, and I wanted to talk about all that too, but I don't see it anywhere now. Where'd it go? What? Where'd it go? Anyway, Nabil responded. Maybe it's on his page. Yalla. And everything wants to jam up and go super slow. Okay, what's that all about? I don't know where it's at. That's interesting. Oh. Well, this is awkward. Now I'm hopping around here and I got you guys looking at all my screens here. And I can't find a response. Anyway, only the bill said something about separate houses, for each woman. And, there's no need for a woman to be subjected to this. Okay, whatever. I can't find it. It's gone. Where is my StreamYard? So stop sharing the screen. So anyway, I wanted to talk about that. And I think it's a little bit more complicated than just you can get away with 140 characters on a tweet. I just don't think that's possible. Oh, darn it. There it is. Look, I just found it. Hold on. Screen share. Come back to this again. Oh, gosh. Need new technology, I tell you. Old man, old dog, new tricks. So Nabil says, this is why you put each woman in their own house / apartment. Each wife is a separate family. There is no obligation for them to be involved with each other's lives. I agree and disagree with this, and we're going to cover all this step by step. It also depends on the culture. A culture where polygyny is foreign, of course, it will be a problem. A father's journey. He says, agreed. I need to be with a woman a minimum of 6 months before I even introduce her to my children. I don't need to be explaining to them my slut of the month club, let alone subjecting them to thoughtdom by living with these women. Them's the rules in TW land. Nathan, I'm not sure who Nathan is. Well, I'll just read it anyway, since we're here. Kids come first, plain and simple. Agree with kids do not want to explain. And the Hugh Hefner paradigm is a weak argument because younger kids don't get it. Teens really don't. And private life's just that private. Look, here's the thing. This is, so let's get off the screen share so I can see myself and see what's going on here. Here's my stance and here's my position. It doesn't matter. As long as you're practicing polygyny from a non-religious stance and perspective, it's going to be hedonistic, and there's no way it's going to work with children involved. It's just not going to work. Look, see, Islam solves all the problems for this entire polygyny situation. You have to understand that in Islam, even when it comes down to polygyny, this is my humble opinion, it's not my opinion, this is fact, is that Islam comes to establish families. And so whether you have one wife or you have four, the idea is to establish a family, you know. And actually, this is in my course. I got this little course out. It's just, you know, it's not for people who are looking to learn game. It's actually for people who are looking to try and put multiple wives under one roof. Because I agree and disagree with Nabil. There's no obligation for them all to be under one roof, but there's also nothing that says they can't be under one roof. And if you go into a polygynous situation with the idea that, you know, I'm banging for fun, well, yeah, of course you're gonna have problems, especially when children are involved, because now you have to explain to your children your hedonistic lifestyle. But if you are having families, then what is that? That is one family. And in my course, I actually talk about this. This is why I brought up my course, because I talk about children having free reign in every house, wherever you are. If you have your women in separate houses, or if you have your wives in one house, the children, they get a free pass, because Islamically, you're not, birth control is a really touchy subject. So eventually all the women are pregnant. And then what does that mean? All those children share a common father. Hopefully you, inshallah. It should be like that, you know, unless you're cooked out like that. But we're going with the understanding that Islamically everybody's practicing properly, and these women are having your children. So that means all of those children, regardless of what woman they're born from, are siblings. They're brothers and sisters. And so this is where, yes, the children come first comes in. You have to put aside all other differences that you have between the wives have between each other, and those children are siblings, and they have to be raised accordingly. You can't just like say separate houses, separate families. It doesn't work like that. They're brothers and sisters, and they have to be raised accordingly, because this is, at the end of the day, like we know from the Arabs, and like we know from the Africans, and like we know from the Southeast Asians, from almost everybody in the Muslim world, the concept of qabila, the concept of tribe. And it's a very big deal to this day in the Muslim world. If we look at culturally, what I call cultural Muslims, those people who were born and raised upon Islam. I wasn't. You know, I was born and raised in a Christian Catholic family. This is not a big deal. But in Southeast Asian, Pakistani, Bengali, Indian, and on, African, we're talking from Somalis to Nigerians to whatever else, to the Arabs, tribalism is a thing. And siblings, they're all one tribe. And when you look at them, they actually do quite a good job with it. Okay, now you find that only the Arabs and the Somalis are the only ones really practicing polygyny here and there, and they're doing a good job of it. You don't really find the Southeast Asians doing it. But the fact is that without religion, and we see this, and I say religion, and I'm not just speaking only of Islam, because then we see the Mormons doing it too. These guys got 25 plus wives and all those kids. They managed to work it out, and they live in one house. So if you remove religion from the picture, there's no way that a polygynous relationship of any sort is going to truly work when children are involved. Now, if you're just talking about a bunch of consenting adults, it's going to work fine. Absolutely. Like you said, there's no explanation to the children. You don't have to worry about their happiness, this, that, the other, because they're not there. But from a religious aspect, the idea is to build families, especially from an Islamic one. So why would your children not be happy? They're being raised in what is hopefully a stable family. That's the idea. I mean, a lot of guys might confuse it. The idea isn't to just go hit it and quit it and like just bang a bunch of women. That's not, you know, it's not all a bunch of games. that's why it's a stupid argument when people come with the whole you became Muslim to have multiple, just so you can marry 4 women. It's like, no, dude, when I was non-Muslim, I had 5, 6, 7, 8 women, and I was running them in rotations, and I didn't have to pay for households, and I didn't have to worry about children because all I was doing was getting my rocks off. But now in Islam, I have to take care of these women because they are family, and it's a serious thing. And when we look at the Mormons and all those guys and, who are actually still practicing Mormonism, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Silver Wings. When you hi, Too Big. And when you're looking at these religious groups that still practice polygyny, they're looking at it from the aspect of a family. Now, when an individual comes and just talking about, I'm just gonna bang a bunch of women, yeah, of course, that's goofy. Yes, and then you're subjecting your children to a bunch of madness. But really, if you're doing it right, your children should be raised with the idea that those other kids are their siblings. They're equal to a parent. There should be no problem. Like, hey, this is like a semi-mom. When I was still married to Becky would be around, and it was like Becky is auntie. But everybody knew it was up, and there was no problem. Becky got to come around because she was my wife and she was family, and we treated her accordingly. We didn't treat her like she was like, like she was a visitor just here. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Khalil. We didn't treat her like she was just like somebody to come in here and, I'm going to slam and then, kick her out. It wasn't like that. She was family. She went shopping with us. She partook in family activities. She knew my children because I thought Becky was going to last. I really did, but unfortunately it didn't. And that's also a case also. But alhamdulillah, all praise due to Allah, there's no children. I'm just speaking from a personal perspective because that's the easiest way for me to relate something and relay something. But no age limit for marriage in Islam. Who told you that? Siraj, who told you that? No age limit. Anyway, coming back to the point. So yes and no. I agree and disagree. I don't totally agree with Nabil because the simple fact of the matter is you can't, whether you have, separate houses or not, you can't consider it separate families. You're one family, and one day or another, you're going to have to come to terms with that. And everybody's going to have to bite the bullet with that if you're serious about the marriages that you're in, especially when children are involved. Because how are you going to have children who are siblings that don't know each other just because separate families? It doesn't work like that. You can't make it work like that. It's going to actually cause problems in the future because then you're going to have the idea, and I've seen this before, where guys tried to keep stuff separate, and then there's always this idea in the minds of the co-wife, there's always the mind in the minds of the children that the other family is being treated better. And you need to distill that, and you need to control that. And the only way you can do that is by everybody seeing that there's nothing but, equality in the way that you treat them and the way that you finance the households. That's a must. It has to be seen. So I don't know did I cover that? Did I actually cover the tweet? Let me make sure. Let me go back and check it. So just going back over this, this thinking is ridiculous. I'm going to bang other women besides my children's mother, and I don't give a damn what they think because of my happiness. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, you get married to multiple women because you like women, and you want to be happy. You're going to be happy with multiple women. But again, this is something that's serious. When you marry these women in Islam, this is why I brought religion into this, whether you're Muslim or Mormon or Jewish or whatever else, you're talking about establishing families. Do you get pleasure from banging new women? Absolutely. But it's not just a one-time thing. It's not just like, oh, let me go down Tinder and get a new one. I mean, if you're doing that, if you take religion out of the picture, then yeah, it's going to be a problem when children are involved. If you have kids, it's your obligation to put their needs ahead of your own within reason. Absolutely. And this is why you should make sure a woman knows that you're polygynist, because she's going to have to accept that ideology also, that ahead of her own happiness, that, children come first, that this is a family, and sometimes it's going to look uncomfortable, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but that's your sibling. That's the sibling to your child. That's your brother or the sister to the child that you have, and this is important because, some women have daughters, some women have sons. And sometimes it doesn't cross paths. Some women are only going to have daughters, some are only going to have sons. And when you kill over as a man, which you will, who's in line to take care of them? Who's in line to make sure that his sister gets married to the proper guy? Of course, your sibling. And if she doesn't have a relative, outside of her brothers, who's going to help, take care of them? Who's going to look out for them? So this is an important thing. It goes on to just covering this bit by bit, going over it again. I'm all for non-monogamy, but it's lunacy to think that I don't believe in monogamy, so I'm going to live with 4 minutes subject. Yeah, Okay, so he says, I don't believe in monogamy, so I'm going to live with 4 women and subject my kids to explaining it for their whole lives because I want to be happy. Again, just reiterating the simple fact that the simple statement and the idea that outside of religion, it can be done outside of religion, I suppose, but you have to be firm about it, and you can't be faking or flaking about it, is that this is a family. You know, if you're just getting your rocks off, again, yeah, this is going to be a problem. How are you going to explain to your kids that, hey, you know, I'm just out here just banging and having fun, guys, you know, and your kids going to be looking at you like, yo, what the heck? Who's this lady this week? You know, but if she's a constant, you know, fixture in your family because she is family, it's a different scene altogether. So I agree with you in this. You know, you can't just be doing that. You just can't have a constant rotation of women coming in and out of your life. It's not good. It's not healthy, you know, for the children. Absolutely not. I agree. But I'm more of a, like, you know, I guess I'm sort of a trad in this sense, you know, but not because I believe a guy should have more than one wife. This is just my humble opinion. Going back over Nabil's statement, this is why you put each woman in their own house apartment. Agree and disagree. Each wife is a separate family. I disagree with that entirely. It's all one family, you know, because when children come involved, there's a blood bond, and that blood bond is you. She has a child from you, blood bond. The other wife has a child from you, blood bond. Those children are bonded by blood. It's now one family. If everything falls apart or if you die, they're going to die family. So they're not separate families. It's one family, and that family is tied together by you as a man through blood. There's no obligation for them to be involved in each other's lives. I disagree with this also, because again, we come back to my point. What if one wife only has a daughter? Like, I have an ex in London, girls stark raving crazy, but that's my daughter. Who's going to look out for her when I'm dead? My sons. They have to, and they know this. They know about her. They haven't met her, unfortunately. No, yeah, actually, one of my sons met her. But it's just, you know, if anything goes wrong with me, they're next in line to look out for her because they're her next direct blood relative. So they're not really separate families, and they have to be involved, you know, because that's their family. That's their blood. That's their women folk. His sister is his women folk. So I completely disagree with you, bro, on this, that there's no obligation for them to be involved in each other's lives. There has to be a bond there, and it has to be strong because they are family. If you're just screwing, yeah, okay, then yeah, that's just that. This is just another kid. Then that's your baby daddy's brother or whatever. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? Father's journey. He says, I agree. I need to be with a woman for a minimum of 6 months before I even introduce her to my kids. Again, this is solved with the issue of marriage and families. If you're going to have a family, this is no longer a problem. I don't need to be explaining them my slut of the month club. Yeah, I don't do the slut of the month club thing. So I mean, it's totally different situations. And see, when we're talking about this, and I'm not attacking the dude, this is his lifestyle. I mean, he can do as he pleases. But this is what happens when you remove religion and you remove the idea of building families from the picture. It just becomes the slut of the month club. In Islam, we don't have this. The Mormons, they don't have this. And these guys have 25 wives and crazy numbers of wives. The Jewish don't have that. You know, you can try and abuse the religion to accomplish that, but it's very difficult. You're going to get thrown under a bus, and rightfully so if you do that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's basically my take on the whole thing. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Let me come back to these comments here. Too Big says Pakistanis and Indians are not doing polygyny. It is a serial problem here. If a man married a second wife, a lot of problems created by the first wife and their family. And yeah, that's anywhere though, bro. I mean, you know, the reality is you're always going to face problems from the family, both the men and the women. The women are going to like get their raise their hackles, if you will, and the men are going to get upset because you're doing something that they want to do and they can't do, and the women are like, yo, what's he doing? He's going to give guys ideas. You're always going to face problems from men who come from non-polygynous families when you come along and you start practicing polygyny, even if the girl doesn't have a problem with it. I had this Asian girl in my inbox, and she wanted to get married to a brother, a black brother. She was Asian, Southeast Asian. She wanted to get married to a brother who's black. He's non-American black, in Britain, as a second wife. And she was totally down for the guy. The guy was like on his game. The dude was doing well, but her family completely against it for multiple reasons. One, because he's black, and then two, because he's got another wife already. You know, so the purpose of marriage to compete with Zena. Because the purpose of marriage to complete, Siraj Dean, man, you're all over the place, dude. This is why I don't like talking to people on the internet. ZB says, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu Abuamerican, wa alaikum assalam. How does child custody work in Islam if there's divorce? I have to admit I'm not the best at this. Basically the child goes to the mother at an early age, and when the child becomes older and conscious, this is my understanding. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. When the child comes to a cognitive ability, they can choose where they want to stay. This is my understanding. Tubik says children live with their mother and father, give their expenditure until they're adults. What? I don't know if that makes sense. I don't understand what you meant there, but okay. So anyway, that's just my whole take on the thing. I mean, I don't see a problem with it, but you got to be upfront about it, and you have to have a purpose and a reason. If you're just trying to, screw a bunch of women, then yeah, of course, you're gonna have a bunch of problems when a bunch of children start popping up. We see this in the African American community, unfortunately. They have a lot of problems with lineage and who is related to who and this, that, the other. And this is another reason why families need to be united and need to be, held together if you're going to have multiple women. You have to ask yourself, how many people in the African American community are screwing each other's siblings? It's a solid question, because a lot of people, I'm not saying all, I'm not trying to sound like that imam who was saying like 90% of guys don't know who their parents are, but some kids in the African American community really don't know who their father is. And then what if that father is out fathering children in multiple places and these children don't know that they're related? They grow up in a community where they're not aware that they're related to one another. Yeah. And then stuff happens, disgusting stuff. So, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I didn't think I could cover that in a simple tweet. 140 characters times 100 in order to cover all that. But that's my take on it. I don't know. You can agree, disagree, but that's my opinion. If you take religion out of it, or if you don't have a purpose, a clear purpose, it's going to be difficult to maintain polygyny. It's just going to be very, very difficult, very, very problematic. And sorry, having all sorts of problems here with the chroma key. And yeah, then it just becomes something of hedonism. And you can't explain hedonism to children. You can, but you're going to screw their heads up. Kids are going to be like, what the hell? What are they going to become? Their example of reproductive success is going to be your hedonism. I always tell the story of reproductive success. I was married to a Somali girl in Qatar, and she grew up watching her parents fight each other and abuse each other, breaking each other's bones, literally. And so in order to get freaky deaky and get down, she always had to fight. And it makes sense to me because it's not something I was familiar with. It's not something that I saw. That you need to fight literally physically before you have sex with your wife. And it was like, what the hell is this woman doing? It was a really weird thing for me that, I'd have to wrestle with this woman and fight her, overpower her. And then, she wanted to get down. I'm like, what the frick? And then later on, with time, I got to hear her story, and then it clicked like, oh, this is your model of reproductive success. Well, if you're just going around banging everything in the tight, and you're having kids all over the place and you're not like raising families, what do you think your child's reproductive model is going to be? It's going to be one of hedonism. And then you're going to have a kid that's going around screwed up, or screwing up other people. That's my humble opinion. No, that's not purple pill. I don't give a damn what anybody says. And if you think it's purple pill, you can kiss my ass. I mean, I really don't care. I'm a Muslim. We don't go around just banging everything in sight. We're not animals. You know what I mean? It's just, it's how it is. There's rules. We're human beings and we treat each other accordingly. So for anybody who wants to call me purple pill, whatever. A. Muhammad says, can I marry 4 Christian girls if I'm Muslim? If they meet the conditions, yeah, you can. But there's enough Muslim women out there that'll marry you, for the time. I don't know why you try and marry 4 Christian girls. Hey, man, do as you wish, man. If they meet the conditions, yeah, go ahead. Of course, they're permissible to marry. So if it's permissible to marry 1, it's permissible to marry 4. I'm just saying there's enough Muslim women out there who are willing to, be co-wives. If you're that guy, it's not easier with Christian women. It's not more difficult with Muslim women. It's the same. So I don't see what the issue is here. Why Christians? I don't know. There's not enough Muslim ones. So yeah. Anybody got any other questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna shut this down. I haven't been on long, but I think I covered the question. We'll go for another 6 minutes here, and then I'm gonna shut this down. It'll be a 30 minutes straight. My phone's buzzing like crazy here. Maybe someone's got questions. No. No questions. What the heck? Nobody? Anybody? What does Twitter say? Twitter says nothing. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Your man Abuamerican. Catch me on Abuamerican.com. Abuamerican.com, I think it's down right now. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm waiting for like support to email me back. So I have a girl who seems to be introverted. Okay. Oh, wait. Sorry. Here comes some questions right here. Hold on. Sir, you don't have to call me sir, but if you okay, if you want to. How can we relate red pill and game to our life without doing anything haram? And it's just, you just use it as an understanding of how how females function. Women are women, whether they're Muslim women or whether they're Christian women. Red pill just gives you an idea of like female behavior in general, so that you have a better idea of how women function and how you can get a positive response out of them or positive results. You don't have to do anything haram. The foundation of all our acts are first and foremost Islam as Muslims. And if something, let's see it like cooking. Red pill like cooking. Too big. There's some recipes that we make that require pork or alcohol. And some of these recipes can be altered so that you can use chicken or, I don't know, something else other than alcohol. But some recipes, it's just an intrinsic part of the recipe that, alcohol or pork needs to be added in there. So if we can adapt it, we adapt it. We change it to where it's permissible for us, meaning the recipe. If it can't be adapted, we abandon it. And red pill is no difference. If we can adapt it to our purposes, then we do it. And if we can't adapt it to our purposes, then we abandon it. It's just simple. We give priority to Islam first. That's our foundation in terms of our acts. A Muhammad said, I have a girl who seems introverted. How do you get her to interact? It seems boring since she's too introverted. Bro, she's just not interested in you. I just hate to be harsh and real, but she's probably just not into you. Because if she was into you, she'd make sure she communicated with you. And she a woman who's interested in you will be giddy and happy and excited to talk to you. She's not going to be introverted. This is just a simple fact, man. I mean, you're going to have to come to terms with that she's probably not that interested in you. You should keep looking, man. Keep your options open. Women got a lot of options nowadays, and it's very easy for them to get bored and fickle with guys. So, if she's not literally, or she's not hammering down your door, and looking for you and asking where you're at and what's going on, hey, she's doing it somewhere else. You can be pretty sure about that, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. AP Moneybag, man. I ain't seen you in a minute, man. So, hey, Muhammad, that's just, that's my humble opinion. If she's not, beating down your door, then she's probably not that interested. I don't think when it comes down to women and trying to establish a relationship with a guy that they're really into, a woman is introverted. I've never seen that, in my humble opinion. I've not seen that. Let's put it like that. I've not heard of that either. When I watch women and what they're interested in, who they want, they're quite active in making sure that they're interested, and that there's no confusion about what they want. Yeah. Maybe not the answer you wanted, but yeah. 29 minutes. One more minute, guys, and then I'm about to shut this down unless some questions come in. Checking Twitter here. Everybody's asleep. It ain't even that late. Y'all like some grandmas, man. Where y'all at? Nope. Nothing. All right, guys. Then, like I was saying, you can catch me on Abuamerican.net until my backup. That's my backup site. For some reason, Abuamerican.com has gone down. Abuamerican.net is fully functional, just like Abuamerican.com. So check that out right now. Is it a big sign? I guess you mean a bad sign? Dude, keep your options open, man. Don't go, what's the word? one-nightists. You know, you're a Muslim. You can have multiple wives. Why are you like so focused on one girl? I just posted a tweet, you know, where I was like, you know, handle your business, King. Salafia, nice. How do you test a woman is right if her wali is present? Give me a second on this. Just keep pushing, Muhammad, man. Have multiple options open to yourselves. It's going to change the way that you respond to women anyway. You're going to come across as less needy. I mean, just in like this interaction right here, it seems like a very, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not trying to offend you, bro, but it seems very needy the way that you're already coming across like this. Oh, she's not interested in me, this, that, the other. Okay, if a woman doesn't seem interested in me, this is my personal experience. I just don't care because I have so many options. It's like, okay, you're not interested. All right, fine. Next. You know, so you need to like get into a position where you're not like just, you know, worried about this one girl, you know, because there's really a lot of them out there looking to get married, you know. Salafia, how do you test a woman is right if her wali is present? The same way it would if he wasn't present. You know, I mean, you don't be talking to these women in a way that's like, you know, that's not permissible before you married them. I mean, what you say in front of her wali is what you'd say in front of her when her wali is not around. I'll give you an example with the London girl. The London girl, I was in a group with me, her, and her. You're welcome, bro. Me, her, and her wali. And we were arranging the marriage. There was going to be a wedding party and everything. And I gave her a set budget. It wasn't that high. And I was just like, look, you're going to have to deal with this. I ain't spending a whole gag of money on, you know, no weddings or whatever else. It's just not going to happen. And then she kept on hitting me up with messages and message about this and this. Oh, I need this and this and this. And then I hit her back with an audio message. And I was like, look, this is what it is. I told you like this, blang, blang, blang. And I just basically shut it down. Like, you ain't getting another cent out of me for no marriage. You know, it really wasn't a lot of money. that she pulled it off is actually quite amazing, you know, with the budget I gave her. And then later on when we got married, she was like, you know, I just thought that was so hot that you like, you know, you set those boundaries with me on like, you know, it's like you really shut me down. She's like, I just liked it. So, you know, talk to her in a way that you would, you know, in front of the wali like you would if he wasn't there, you know. You don't want to be saying anything haram, you know. I mean, generally, it happens sometimes. You know, sometimes I say stuff, some out of pocket stuff to women that I'm interested in. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It just happens because I'm kind of crazy like that. But don't be like that, you know. Don't be like me, you know. But yeah, generally, just if you have a test, figure it out because if you're gonna be married to this woman, you know what I mean, bro, you gotta be you. And you gotta know what's up, you know. All right, guys. Abuamerican.net until Abuamerican.com comes on. I'm out. Thanks.